Hey guys, Tom at Raycom TV, where today we're going to be talking Lectrosonics, specifically the DCR822 receiver and then the Dbsm and Dbsmd transmitters. Now the DCR822 sits as the successor to the UCR411A, and we have some really brilliant features packed in here, as we'd expect from Lectrosonics. So compatible with the D2, Duet and digital hybrid transmitters, we have a whole bunch of features as well that give us the fantastic RF performance that we would expect from Lectro. Now the guys at Lectro make some fantastic kit, even says on their box that it's made by a bunch of fanatics, and that rings absolutely true with the features packed in these products. So let's take a look. Right then, let's talk DCR822 first. Before we get onto the features packed inside, let's look at the actual body of the unit itself. So it's a compact dual channel receiver, as I said. On the front we have two antenna connectors for our diversity, a simple and clear OLED screen with simple operating controls. There's a micro SD slot on the front, the reasons for that we'll get to, and an infrared port as well for syncing your transmitters and other things like that. On the back we have our outputs, so we've got 2 analog and 4 digital on AES3 from 2 TA3 connectors. Now you might be thinking, but it's a 2-channel receiver, why has it got 4 outputs? And that's because it has Talkback functionality. So Talkback is a special function that redirects the audio output of the electro transmitter in use, which has to have Talkback functionality, to a different receiver output when Talkback is selected on the transmitter. This allows for a communication channel directly to your director, crew, etc. And when selected, the audio will appear at the designated Talkback channel rather than the channel used for program audio. We also have a USB port here. Our battery door power can come either from AA's or from fixed power as well. Now the DCR822 actually has the same form factor as the UCR411A. I mentioned that it's the successor to that product, which means you can easily integrate it into your kit with any of your existing hardware and you know it won't be a problem for you. Enough about the exterior then, let's talk about what they've actually packed into this thing. The headline features: Vector Diversity, which is an advanced form of true diversity, and then a unique phase matching system. A really robust front end with 2 front ends per channel, coupled with aggressive filtering, gives us an IP3 of plus 15 dBm. Whether analog or digital, this means the DCR822 has really robust performance in instances of harsh RF conditions or instances of close carrier spacing. Now I mentioned earlier that there is actually a micro SD slot on the front, and that's for very good reason. The DCR822 actually has an onboard 24-bit 48 kHz recorder. This will save recordings to a micro SDHC card in WAV format. If you've got a 32 gig card, you're looking at about 46 hours of recorded audio. Now you can record up to 4 channels of audio, but it does depend on the mode the receiver is set to, but having an onboard recorder as well really adds to the breadth of ability of the 822. Now also in here, there is AES256 encryption with 4 different policies to give you both flexibility and security with your operation. But I want to talk in a little bit more detail about that Vex Diversity. So with digital systems, we tend to see there isn't really a gradual drop-off of performance. Performance is brilliant and then it's dramatically worse. Now, more often than not, the actual combined energy from the 2 antennas would be enough to keep getting great performance. It's just that each antenna on their own can't support it, so we start to lose reception. This is where Vex Diversity comes in. So the signal from each antenna is expressed in vector form. These are continuously rotated, combined optimally, and then demodulated. What this means is that both antennas constantly contribute to the performance of the receiver, and we get clean, artifact-free performance that we'd expect from Lectrosonics equipment. Now, as I said, these are compatible with the Duet transmitters, D2, and also backwards compatible with digital hybrid transmitters. And there are a range of operating modes as well for those different transmitter types to make operation simple. So that is an overview for you of the DCR822. Nice quick one. Let's take a look then at the Dbsm and Dbsmd transmitters. So they are miniature transmitters from Lectrosonics. Both offer exactly the same features. The Dbsmd is just a double battery variant. Now, Lectro actually market these as transcoders, and that's because they have the ability to both transmit and act as recorders as well. It's worth noting though that you can only do one or the other depending on what you actually need at that time of operation. So let's talk about the actual features themselves then. Well, we have adjustable RF power from 10, 20 and 50 milliwatts, input gain adjustments in 1 dB increments over a 44 dB range, and adjustable low frequency audio roll to control subsonic and low frequency audio. Now, a fantastic feature of these transmitters that actually really complements the features of the 822 is a selectable high density transmitting mode for situations where you require numerous channels in a tight section of spectrum. So great sound is achieved from a dynamic range of 112 dB and an audio frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz when in D² mode, plus a DSP controlled analog audio limiter is employed ahead of the first mic preamp to protect the entire system from overload. They also feature timecode jam sync capability that's done via the TA5 connector on the top here. Now we also have an infrared port for syncing with receivers or sharing things like encryption keys. I did mention as well, it is a recorder, so as we unscrew the battery door, there is a micro SD slot in here. The recorder inside is a 24-bit 48 kHz recorder that records directly onto that micro SD. That shuts simply with a twist. There we go. The actual unit itself is really lightweight alloy, but nice and robust as well, and coated to be resistant to salt water, so it's ideal for things such as being buried in costumes if they're going to get sweaty or exposed to the elements. On the subject of being buried in costumes as well, they can be remotely controlled, so your transmitters can actually be switched off, buried in a costume, and then turned back on from standby mode to conserve battery life so you're not digging transmitters in and out. It's a really fantastic feature. But guys, that is the DCR822 receiver and the Dbsm and Dbsmd transmitters from Lectrosonics. Now, if you have any more queries about these products at all, hope you found this video helpful, but if you do, please do get in touch. All of our contact details will be down below in the description for you. We'd love to have a chat about them, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please show your support by leaving a like on the video itself. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. It's the big red button down below. And if you do enjoy these kind of videos and our product walkthroughs and range tests, everything like that, make sure you hit the bell icon down below as well, so you get notified when we make any of our future uploads. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Tom, and this is Raycom TV.